Are you looking for the top 5 best student laptops? In this video, we will look at some of the top 5 best student laptops on the market. For more details and price click product link, please check the description below. Before we get started with our video, number 1, Acer Swift 314 2020. The Acer Swift 314 2020 is our best mid-range pick. This thin and light model is very portable, feels well built, and has a near 14-hour battery life. Its 14-inch display gives you just enough room for light multitasking, and it's flicker-free, which helps reduce eye strain. The keyboard feels decent to type, although it's a little cramped, and the touchpad is reasonably responsive, albeit on the smaller side. You can configure it with an Intel 11th Gen Core i5 or i7 CPU and up to 16 GB of memory and 512 GB of storage. Naturally, there are some drawbacks. The first is that the display doesn't get very bright at 279 CD/M2. It's only bright enough for use indoors, meaning you may have some trouble with glare in well-lit rooms. Second, the webcam is bad as the captured image looks soft and underexposed, and the microphone sounds staticky, so it's not the best for video calls. Other than that, it's a good option if you don't want to spend too much on a premium model but don't want to go too cheap. Number 2. Microsoft Surface Laptop Go 2. The Surface Laptop Go 2 occupies a middle ground between Microsoft's mini tablet, the Surface Go 3, and its mainstream clamshell, the Surface Laptop 4. It starts at a low $599.99, $799.99 as tested, but is more stylish and better made than many budget notebooks. With a square 3:2 aspect ratio screen that lets you see more of a web page or word processing document without scrolling, the Pixel Sense display is on the small side at 12.4 inches, and its resolution isn't ultra-sharp. But the Laptop Go 2 weighs only 2.5 pounds despite a battery that lasts over 12 hours, so it's hard to complain. If your collegiate laptop hunt is shadowed by a tight budget and portability is a priority, the Surface Laptop Go 2 is a fairly well-equipped winner. Available in 4 snazzy colors, it gives you some of the chic of a MacBook and even offers replaceable parts for sustainability and longevity. Number 3. Microsoft Surface Pro 8. Most 2-in-1 portables PC that give you a choice of working in laptop or tablet mode or convertibles with pivoting but permanently attached keyboards. Microsoft Surface Pro 8 is the top Windows detachable, a 13-inch tablet that jettisons its folding keyboard cover for times when you only want to carry the 1.96-pound slate and a stylus pen for jotting notes or dashing off a drawing. It's expensive, especially since Microsoft sells the keyboard and pen as extra-cost accessories rather than standard equipment. But it's a full-fledged, high-performance alternative to a conventional clamshell. A well-designed kickstand and the snap-on keyboard give you full laptop functionality. Though like all detachables, it's a bit wobbly perched in your lap as opposed to placed on a desk or table. Like Apple's iPad but with an even better software library, the full universe of Windows apps. The Surface Pro 8 is a clever handheld computer that makes a paper pad or notebook look primitive. You can afford a well-equipped Core i5 or Core i7 model. It'll serve you well with unbeatable tablet/laptop versatility for in-class note-taking, out-of-class video watching, and lots else around campus. Number 4. Apple MacBook Pro 14 2021. The best laptop for students we've tested is the Apple MacBook Pro 14 2021. A premium mobile workstation. It feels exceptionally well built, has an incredibly long battery life, and is easy to carry around. You can spec it with a Mon Pro or Mon Max OC system on chip, both of which are more than powerful enough to handle nearly every type of workload, making it an excellent choice for students in fields like graphic design, architecture, or engineering. It gets a little hot under load, but the fans never get loud, so you don't have to worry about causing too much noise in a quiet classroom or library. It has a sharp mini LED display that's suitable for color-critical work, a keyboard that's comfortable to type on all day, and a gigantic and responsive haptic touchpad. There's a fingerprint sensor built into the power button, meaning you can log in quickly. Its excellent port selection includes 3 USB-C/Thunderbolt 4s, an HDMI, an SD card reader, and a high-output headphone jack. If screen real estate is more important than portability, you can go with the larger Apple MacBook Pro 16 2021. It's essentially the same device but has a 16-inch display, slightly better sounding speakers, and a larger battery. The only downside is its higher price tag. Number 5. Apple MacBook Air 13, 2022. If your school workload consists only of lighter tasks like text processing, web browsing, and video playback, get the Apple MacBook Air 13, 2022 instead. The successor to the very popular Apple MacBook Air 13, Mon, 2020. This new model has a fresh new design with a slightly larger display and thinner bezels, a better 1080p webcam, and a more powerful M2 SoC. The display is brighter this time around, enough for use outdoors in broad daylight, and you still get a comfortable keyboard and a large and responsive touchpad. It only has 2 USB-C ports, but there's now a dedicated MagSafe charging port, freeing up the USB-C port you would otherwise use for charging. While the M2 MacBook Air is a fantastic device that we wholeheartedly recommend, it's still an expensive laptop, even more expensive than the older Mon model. The good news is that Apple still sells Mon MacBook Air alongside the newer model. Of course, there are a couple of trade-offs, like its older design, slightly dimmer display, and a less powerful but still very capable Mon SoC. These compromises are fairly minor, so it's up to you to decide whether it's worth paying more for the M2 model. If you prefer or need to work on Windows, the Dell XPS 13, 2021 is the closest direct competitor to the MacBook Air. It's also a well-built 13-inch laptop with a bright display, comfortable keyboard, and responsive touchpad. It gives you roughly 10 hours of battery life, which is about the same as the M2 MacBook Air. Dell managed to squeeze a webcam with Windows Hello facial recognition support into the XPS 13's incredibly thin bezels. However, the image quality is decent at best, and not as good as the Mon or M2 MacBook Air. It also has 2 USB-C ports, but they support Thunderbolt 4, allowing you to connect up to 2 forked displays at 60 Hz.